Okay, let's see. Hello, my name is Cecilia. I work here as assistant MCA. So today we are just going to go over the commission tab. So a lot of new agents or even agents that have been here have always wondered how to set up a transaction in Command, and we need to do that for you guys to get paid. So we thought we would create a video to make sure that you guys always have something to look back on. Because I know in the beginning it can be kind of confusing, but once you get the hang of it, it's really easy. So I shared my screen and we're just going to walk through pretty much everything that really needs to be done. I know agents are super busy and you guys have so much to do in your day. So I really today in this video want to hit on exactly what you will need to get paid. And there's a lot of extra stuff that is for you when you create a transaction. And so I just want to go over the things that are really necessary. So here is Command. So I have my Command page up and each of you will be associated to one with your login and password. So make sure you remember that. If you don't remember your password, whatever email you set up with us, make sure that you can reset your password through there if you do need to. But to start, the two little icons we're going to be working in today is contacts and opportunities. So when we create an opportunity, the first thing we need to do is create a contact. And I will explain why a little bit later on that opportunity page. But in creating a contact, you're really creating the person you're working with, either on the listing or buy side. I already have a couple people in here, so I'm not going to create one, but we do have this button up here that says add contact. And when you click on that, it's pretty basic stuff. I always say, make sure you fill everything in with the asterisk. All this extra stuff of emails and phone numbers is extra. So you don't really need to put their emails or phone numbers or anything like that in there. But it is pretty easy to create a contact. We really just want that name, and then you'll press that create button. But we're going to use one of these today. And so when I go to the opportunities, this is the page it's going to look like. And when you have let's say you already have a bunch of opportunities that you've already created and put in here, this is the all opportunities that's going to pull up every transaction you are still working in. And so that's just another way for you to look back like, hey, did I create this opportunity? I don't remember. This is the page for you to see and to stay organized. And then, okay, so when we're creating a new opportunity, we're just going to press on create opportunity. I always like to explain this market center one, just because as you see, as I do the drop down, there's two market centers associated with me. Some agents do have two market centers associated to their command. So what's happened in the past is it accidentally, let's say, populates to KW Realtors instead of KW South Valley. And if that is what is populated and you didn't catch that, when you do this whole transaction and are done and submit it to me, I'm going to go in and I'm still not going to be able to see this transaction on my side because it technically is not associated with Keller Williams South Valley. So that is something I always say, make sure you check everything looks good. If anything looks weird, we need to change it. So Keller Williams South Valley is the one we want as the market center. My name is populated. I'm the agent, I'm the owner. And either you're going to be working with a listing, a buy, landlord, or tenant. For the most part, it's going to be a listing or buy side. So today we are going to do a listing. So when we create that contact, this is the client. So let's say if I didn't create a contact and I press this arrow down, as you see, there's nothing there. But if I type it in, and it populates, that means that I created that contact. But if I'm typing the name of my client and it's not populating, then that means that client page either was messed up, something wasn't put in right, or I didn't create it. So we need it because it has an asterisk and we won't be able to create this transaction without it. So that's why creating that contact first is so important. So we're going to use Abdu Hassan as the name. and then that populates there. I always say this, most dates don't have asterisk next to it when we go throughout, but I think dates are extremely important. For one, it shows us on our side as a market center when you go under contract and when you close, but also there is going to be times that the system's weird and it won't allow you to submit a commission tab, which we'll get to a little bit later. If you don't put in dates, even though they don't have asterisks. Have no idea why, but I always just say, make sure you fill out the dates just in case. And so today for the close date, we are going to use July 1st. Okay, you don't need to really touch this yet. We're going to put that listed price in later, but they do want the commission rate on this page. So we're going to go with 3%. Opportunity phase and opportunity stage is something that you can allow it to populate whatever it's at. It has nothing, like it doesn't need, it's not really necessary or important on which one of these are populated to. So we're going to create, and this is pretty much our file we're working in. So we have the details, seller profile, marketing documents, offers and commission notes, and timeline. The only three that we're going to be working in and that we need to be completed for me to get you paid is the details page, the documents, and the offers and commission. So first we're going to fill out the details page. And these are the two boxes that we're going to fill out: general information and property. You can always click on these pencils to pretty much work in these boxes. But the first one is going to be the general information. And the only thing we need to populate in here is, again, going to be those dates. So this is a page that can get really weird if it's not filled out properly for when we need to submit that commission tab. So contract date, I'm going to just do June 1st. And then close date, we said, was going to be July 1st. So just in a month. So we can save that. And then we're going to come to the property box and we are just going to type in a property. So let's say this is the property that I went under contract on. So this is going to be our example, but I always like to mention as well that it sometimes doesn't like to take, if it doesn't have like west or south, or it's very close to the address that you are working under, but it doesn't have that full address that it's populating. I always say do the closest one to the one that is populated, because they won't allow us to type in the address. They want it to connect to an address that's already in the system. So I know new construction can be weird. So I always say pick the closest one you can, or you're going to have to click on an address that is maybe not even necessarily the address itself, but you have to right now because it's still new construction and you can go in and change it later. So right now we're just going to do this one on top. And as you see, it does populate everything, and that's exactly what the system likes. So we are then going to save. So this page is done, pretty simple. Everything else can stay the same. And then we're coming to the documents tab. And so the first thing we want to do is click on this black little arrow that says pick checklist type. And we either are going to click on residential or commercial. So most of the time you are going to be on residential, which is that buy and listing side of homes. And if you are dealing with commercial, then that option is there for you as well. So we are clicking on residential. So we have listed and under contract and closed as 3 different sections in this document tab. Closed is the section that I actually work in. So I have a lot of agents that ask me like, oh, what is a DA? Check and CDI. I have no idea what that is. So a DA is what I'm going to attach once I close out this file, which is going to be the breakdown of the check itself, that amount, the sales price, and it's going to have on that second page the breakdown of your splits. So if you have any questions on how to read that, please reach out to me, because I know it can be confusing your first time around too, and you just want to know how those numbers are being played out. When we come to listed, pretty much we just have all these docs, which is nice, that populates for you, as well as under contract, that you just have to drag and browse and pull into each of these sections. If your attached from files from is not on My Computer Manual and it's on Dotloop or DocuSign, it will weirdly not allow you to drop files. So I always say click this little arrow, and if you have another thing under here that says DocuSign, make sure that it always says My Computer Manual so you can work in this file section. If you have any extra addendums or HOAs, docs, which is what many of you guys will have, you just click on these three dots and do add document. You can put addendum 1, HOA this, whatever it is, and then click on document type. I always just put authorization. This really doesn't matter too much, but it does have an asterisk next to it. And then you are just going to drop that file right in there, and you can just keep going for as many addendums or whatever you have to stay organized there. And then once you're done with all the documents and uploading them, agents do forget to submit to MC. So most of them are like, oh, I have them all in there. Pretty much, what am I missing? And so we have a doc guy that is kind of like a third party that checks the system every time agents submit their docs to him. So what will happen is when you come in the next time after you submit to MC, I always say keep checking your transactions and making sure all these docs are good, because what he will do is either have this green next to listed and under contract, which say it's like a little box and it says approved. If it's all approved, then all of these actually will turn green, and he's pretty much saying you're good to go on all these docs. They look great. All signatures that are required are in there, dates, everything looks great. If it says like, sorry, if the box is red, and I forget what it says exactly, but it's pretty much missing something, one of these will turn red as well, and it will have a little comment box. And so when you hover your mouse over the little comment box, it will tell you exactly, sorry, it will tell you exactly what is missing. So most of the time it's like agent signatures or seller signatures, or this is not the right document. That's happened before, where agents accidentally upload the wrong document or nothing's filled out. And so he's just pretty much doing that check and balance for you and for us to make sure that we are all in compliance. So if you have any questions, or if it is a new construction and there's some documents that aren't required in this transaction, I would add a comment here and pretty much just state exactly the situation you're in to him and why you don't have that document. And so he can read it on his side and still approve it, and it's good to go. So once that's all done, lastly, we're going to come to offers and commission. So when you do an offers and commissions, when you go under contract to the point of closing, documents don't need to be in this file until close to closing, because that's when it's all finalized, right? But offers and commissions do need to be uploaded in the transaction itself when you create it, 4 days right when you go under contract. So right when you know that this is what deal we're going to be working in, we need to start creating this file, and we need to submit to me the offers and commissions. The reason why is we need to make sure that we stay organized on all transactions for you guys. So we go through our projections each and every week. Barry does at the front desk. You'll get text from him that is staying up to date for you guys to make sure that your transactions are closing on the dates that is said in these transaction files. There's been times in the past that Barry would reach out, or I would reach out to agents and say, hey, are you closing on this file? It says this date, it's passed by 5 days. Do you have a new closing date? And most agents that are really busy either thought they got paid on it already, or the date did move to a different date, or it was a cancellation. But the one that's really important is if you were expecting to get paid and you're so busy and you haven't even seen that and you thought you got paid, it's a really good, again, check and balance to make sure that we get that money to you, especially because we do hold earnest money sometimes that is used towards commission. And so title companies don't send the check. And if you didn't know that, then that money is just sitting in our trust account, because unless we get sent the settlement statement papers, we don't know when to close out that transaction. So I always say, make sure that we keep all these transactions as organized and precise as possible, but also in a timely manner, so we as a brokerage can stay better organized for you guys. Okay, we're gonna add a new offer. You can call it whatever you like. This one I'll just call Abdu Hassan. That is my client. We're going to do create offer. And then this is just going to walk us step by step to create this offers and commissions. So we're going to do offer details, parties, terms, and agent analysis. So this is the first page, the offer details. And again, we're just going to, I think we did, yeah, June 1st to July 1st. Okay. And then we're going to go to parties. So pretty easy. So parties really is, it'll already populate since I'm on the listing side, which is the seller side, my client's name, a phone number, and pretty much I'm the representation, which I'm the agent. Again, we don't need to fill out any of this extra stuff. If you want to create these files quickly, this is all just extra information for you if you want to stay better organized. And the representation of the other party, so that buyer's name, I'm just going to create one. Really, I'm just lost random names. Okay, so let's just say it's Hassan Albert. And then the agent representing them is going to be, I'm just going to, put her broker's name. Summers. Perfect. So that's it for this page, and we're going to go to terms. So this page doesn't have any asterisks next to it, but the ones we do need to, this light keeps turning off. Okay, so the one we really do need to make sure that's populated is going to be that sales price. So when I get the check, I'm going to be making sure that that sales price that you have in your commission tab matches what's exactly on the settlement statement papers. I know that it does change throughout the contract, going under contract to the closing. So I'll go over a little bit later on how to fix that. But right now, let's say we paid $20,000. We put $20,000 in cash, and then we financed the rest of it. So another $500,000. So the sales price of the home is going to be $520,000. Earnest money really will be on that buy side. So I'm not going to mess with that right now. But if there is any earnest money down, you can put it here. But again, all these things really don't have such an effect on the commissions tab itself. It's just more information for you. So this page is done. Agent analysis page is pros, cons, and summary. So really this is just notes again for you. When you create a bunch of offers, so when you get a bunch of offers, especially on the listing side, you can just type in, let's say Abdu Hassan, whatever you really like about the offer you got for him. You can put the pros and cons and pretty much the summary of that person. And so each of these sections, you can have notes on what you like about this, the offers on each of the ones that are towards this transaction. But again, this is extra information for you. I won't be reading any of this or seeing any of this. So we can just press save. And a lot of people, once they get to this section, they think that they are done, but it's a 3-step. So we got to create the offers and commission, and then we have to accept the one we want. So if you have multiple offers down here, which some people do, make sure you always accept the one that you do go under contract on and you do end up working with. So we're going to accept. And again, 3-step process. So people think they're done on this one, but again, it says opened right here, and we always want it to be submitted to me. So it should say submit at some point. So we're going to click on manage commission. When we click on manage commission, this is the page we always want to work in and see. So we have a general information and then agent payment. If any of this is red, so let's say this wasn't here, which it should be, but if it wasn't, we can click on edit general information. And let's say on that sales price, we messed up, or, oh, it was 2.5% instead of 3%. If any point along the way, just keep working through that transaction and don't worry about having to go back, because you can always edit in the sections of whatever page you're working on. So this looks good though, from what we put in. So just save changes. And then this is a breakdown of you as an agent and what you're going to get paid. Edit agent payment is here. Again, if you need to correct anything in here, but for the most part, I'll just show you for agent gross commission. That's exactly what you're getting paid. I make sure that it always matches and it's not a penny off or any number off, because if we do submit, it won't allow us. So just making sure everything's accurate. Associate royalty and company commission is what exactly is the amounts from the splits that are being taken from this agent gross commission. So it's that, if you're an individual agent, it's that 70-30 split, or if you're on a team, it's that 85-15. But if you could see here, this is that royalty, which is that 6%. So it's separate from the 30-70 split. So these two numbers totaling is going to come over here to show you the breakdown of exactly how much you're going to be getting paid from your total commission. If you notice that these numbers don't match based off of, let's say you already capped and these numbers are still populating saying you're getting money taken out of, I always say don't worry about it, mainly because this system doesn't always connect and match to our WinMore system, which is what we work in to get you paid. I always say check the DA that I send to you through email, and even I'll show you, oh, I did show you earlier in the documents where I upload DA and check and CD. Always check on those pages, because if you are capped, our WinMore system does know that and it won't take this money out. So if ever you have questions on what this looks like or where the numbers are being taken, please reach out to me because I can better explain that to you. For deductions, you will only see E&O being taken out, which is going to be taken out every single transaction. So that's the only thing you should see in deductions. But I like to show agents, if you scroll down all the way to the bottom and click on add item and this little arrow button, you're going to see bonus, concessions, deduction, inside referral, and outside referral. So bonuses is like if you have a transaction fee, which is separate from the check itself, and it's a bonus on top of the check itself. So you'll see even on the check, which I see on my side, like an extra $300 for a transaction fee or some type of little fee that is added onto the check. We want to put it as a bonus because technically, let's say you haven't capped, right? You will get this money on top of the check itself, but the splits won't come from the bonus, come out of the bonus. So if you have another extra $300, that $300 is directly going to you. There's no splits being taken out. So that's why we like to keep it separate, because in our system, we can put it in as separate and those splits won't be taken out from it. So if we click on bonus, it's really simple. You're just putting that $300. So let's just put it in there. And we're going to add. And then let's say We don't need to worry about concessions ever or inside referral. The only other one we need to worry about is outside referral. So let's say we had somebody refer, that listing to us, and we are going to give them 25% of our commission for doing that. We want to click on outside referral and make sure that we have their W-9. So whatever other, so if let's say an agent lives in Florida and referred their people that were moving here to us, we need to make sure whatever brokerage they're associated with, we need to get their W-9, because that is exactly where I have to send the check to. And so it's going to have a tax ID number attached to it. It's going to have the brokerage name, and we're going to put the agent's name, the address of the brokerage itself. And then we're going to attach that W-9 and referral agreement in the documents tab. But that's only if you have a referral that is going, an outside referral that's going out. If you do have an inside referral, let's say an agent in this brokerage itself helped you or referred you and you want to pay them, we are going to not do inside referral, but we're just going to do add another agent. And this goes for team splits as well. If you are on a team and you need 2 associates page, which I have my own associates page, we're creating a new associates page here. So let's just type in, Amy. And let's say that we are giving her 2,000 of our commission because she helped us on this deal. Everything else can stay the same. Since it is your deal, you want to get credit for the units. If she did do half of the work, then you can do 0.5 here. So let's say she did help us a lot and we want to give her some credit for the units. We're going to save the changes there. But as you see, now she has 2,000 and 0.5 of the units, but for each transaction, you can only get credit for 1 unit. And this number is still the same. So it doesn't populate itself. We have to go in and do those numbers ourselves to make sure that these 2 associate pages match the total commission. So when we click on edit agent payment, we are going to just deduct that 2,000 and we're going to fix those units. So now it should total to still that 15,600. So if it does, it will always allow us to submit without leaving us a note saying something was missing. So let's go ahead and submit if everything looks good. This here is always going to pop up. So if you press continue, it's already populated on $10 each. So unless you want to pretty much give to KW Cares, which I'll just briefly talk about. So most of our agents do actually donate to KW Cares, because KW Cares is an event that we hold every year. And it's an event for us as a brokerage to come together and to give back to our community. So all the money that you guys give per transaction and all the fundraisers we do throughout the year as a brokerage, we create this fund, and every year we come together and we give it to somebody in the community and we go do some charity work. And it's actually one of the best days of the year. Seriously, one of the best days of the years. And so if you want to donate per transaction, you can always do one of these amounts or other and just type in $20, $25, whatever it is. Or you can reach out to me or Amy, and you won't have to worry about doing this each time, and we can take it out per transaction. We'll just write it in our system as that way. But if you don't want to donate, you can just do skip donations for all. And it'll bring you back to this page and allow you to submit. So you know you did it right if it says submitted and you have a request termination. So the request termination, just going back to when you do this page 4 days after you go under contract, the reason why we have this request termination is because we understand that things are going to change close to closing. It can or it cannot, but I tell agents, don't worry about continuously pressing request termination, because if you need to correct something, let's say 7 days after you just put this in, but maybe close to closing, which is in the next 20 days, you're going to have another correction. I always say, put this in so we have it, and then don't touch it and don't worry about it until close to closing, until you know what that sales price actually ended up being and what that total commission as well ended up being. Just because I don't want you guys to continuously have to create offers and commissions and terminate them and then submit them and terminate and submit them. It should only be 1 or 2 times that you have to do this process. And when you request a termination, it really is only terminating this page for you to make those edits. So it keeps this whole transaction in there, the details, the documents, and the offers and commissions. But the only thing it's going to terminate is this page. So I'm going to do it just to show you guys. We're going to request a termination. Let's say that sales price or the commission, or I forgot to put that outside referral in and I need to go in and do that. Or I don't think I showed you guys this really quickly, but if you do have a TC you're working with and you're paying them per transaction, that is going to be under deductions. So when you click on that add item, when we are doing the bonus and inside referral, there will be a little deduction button that you can press and add that transaction fee that you're paying your transaction coordinator. So let's say we forgot to do one of those, right? Let's do request termination. Yes. And so now we see this is terminated. So when we click on offers and commissions again, we can see that this one is done, and we're just going to add a new offer and go through that whole process again, which is pretty quick. I think once you start understanding how to do this, it really is just that necessary information that we discussed throughout this whole video. And all that other extra things that I was talking about is really for you. That takes more time. So if you do have any questions on any of this, like you still don't understand how to do it, or things are not submitting in the right ways, or any little things, please reach out to me and let me know, because I have walked through so many of these with people that I feel like I know pretty much how everything is ran. Otherwise, we have Amy, which is our expert, as the MCA, and we will take care of you guys. So thank you, and I hope this helped. Sam.